Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big share. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US of A. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, executive sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. With this my majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on New Year's Eve day on a Wednesday. And yes, I'm not dead yet, but I probably could have had a long week of being sick. Ultimately, I could have still streamed, but every time, like, it was with the cold or the flu or whatever. And so my apologies. Luckily, nothing happened while I was sick. It was a very slow news week. So nothing really happened. And I'm glad for that, because I would have been really upset if massive viral stories would have happened. I would have been really upset if massive fraud with illegal immigration would have been uncovered by, I don't know, someone that was Kamala Harris's choice to be vice president, one heartbeat away from the president. I would have been really upset if something like that would have happened. I would have been really upset if Alex Jones went scorched earth against Candace Owens. It would have been a tough, with that said, like, it would have been tough for me to deal with that. But since nothing happened, it was completely okay. Just a slow news week, and that's it. But yes, final day of 2025, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to see all of you in the chat. And that's what happens when you hang out on Cervantes. I'm not in Pensacola. Slow news week, though. That's right. Let's see here. Hello, mods and chat, says Jason in the chat. That's right. Out of the loop. What loop? Yeah, nothing at all happened. It was just a boring week. Cutting your hair made you sick. Yes, that probably is it. Cut my hair, all gone. So that probably did. That's probably what did me in right there. Quality Leering Center. So yeah, obviously, sarcasm aside, I'm sure many of you are already aware of what has happened in the past week with YouTuber Nick Shirley exposing an insane amount of fraud in Minnesota. Tim Walz has been exposed, and now you have the Trump administration getting involved in this. And look, man, listen, I've never pretended to be the smartest person, and I never will. But I do think that I have a level head and I have some common sense. And the complete insanity surrounding this story with Nick Shirley and how people are acting it's kind of hilarious. And I don't even know where to start because there's so much to cover. But I mean, I guess we could just start with the basics here. So we know that Somalis have essentially taken over certain parts of Minnesota, and we've been aware of this for a long time. And so YouTuber Nick Shirley, who's someone that we've covered here a few times with some of his vlogging and things like that. He's absolutely fantastic at what he does. But he uncovered something that has blown up on the internet. And it got over 120 million views on Twitter. It's gone mega viral and has exposed a problem that is, in my opinion, is not isolated to Minnesota at all. It's everywhere. Minnesota is just one example of all of these things that we're seeing across this entire country. But here's the gist of it right here. We're not going to play much of it. This is like a minute 17 of Nick Shirley talking about it.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong.
The fact that, so you're going to see a lot of memes about this if you haven't. Quality Learning Center, because these idiots can't spell. I like this one right here before the stream started. To all the Somalis in the chat, Happy New Year. Bro, this comment is so good. Happy New Year. Holy shit, man. I was like, get out of here. That was amazing.
And they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working. Midday, children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing. And like I said, they literally spelled the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
Incredible. And big props to Nick Shirley, who now is the conservatives' new prettiest girl at the dance. I see everybody wants to talk to Nick Shirley suddenly. Suddenly now, everybody wants to talk to him. Patrick Bet David has him on his show. Oh, we got to bring Nick Shirley in. It's like, why didn't you bring Nick Shirley in months ago when he was on the ground reporting just shit like this? Oh, because he didn't have something viral that you could take advantage of. For as much as I love the fact that we have independent media, there are so many content vultures out there. And as soon as somebody goes viral, as soon as somebody blows up, they're just like vultures. It's like Nick Shirley has been doing stuff like this for a long time. Why the fuck didn't Patrick Bet David roll out the red carpet for him before? Oh, suddenly he gets a viral video, and all of a sudden Patrick Bet David and his whole crew are like, look, guys, we got Nick Shirley. We're going to roll out the red carpet for him. I fucking hate content vultures, but whatever. So I've seen everybody out there like suddenly now Nick Shirley is their go-to guy. It's like he's been doing this for a long time. With that said, either way, big shout out to him. I hope he's getting paid a lot of money for all of these people that are pretending to care about him suddenly. I hope he's getting paid massively because he deserves it. He deserves every penny. Now, with all of this happening, you're seeing a ton of reaction across the internet. And this is where, like, I feel like the social media and the TikTok world has broken so many people's brains that They want instant gratification on everything. They want to snap their fingers and have a result, because that's what social media has trained everyone's mind to just accept, that like expect results immediately. Snap your fingers and it's got to be done. And so now everybody's like, well, Trump should just go in there and arrest everyone. And it's like, that's not how this works. You know, I saw the other day, Asmongold was like, I'm not voting until something's done about this. It's like, the only reason you know about this, for all of these motherfuckers out there that are like, I want results, the only reason that any of you know about this is because we had an election in 2024 and Donald Trump fucking won. Because if Donald Trump didn't win, and if Donald Trump didn't just a few months ago bring a bunch of independent media, including Nick Shirley, to the White House and embrace their efforts, you wouldn't be seeing this shit right here, right now. You would all be worried about what you can and can't say on social media. So miss me with this bullshit about you need results. The fact that we're talking about this is a fucking result. And it pisses me off about all of these people that are just like TikTok brain broken, where they're like, I need results right now. And you're like, you got results. Literally, the person that was in line to be Kamala Harris's vice president is now being exposed because of two key factors. Number one, Elon Musk bought Twitter. And number two, Donald Trump won the election. If those two things don't happen, you never hear about this at all, ever. That is a result. And the fact that it's gone so viral, thankfully because of Elon, and now we're going to see how this all plays out. Now, again, is it frustrating to me that this is going on? Yes. Is it frustrating to me that it's still going on after it's been exposed? Yes, it's very frustrating to me, but I also have a working brain and my mind has not been broken by TikTok level results. Things take time. And I think that stuff like this is going to open us up to the election fraud that was so obvious to all of us back in 2020. And I think that stuff like this is only the beginning in order to uncover the massive web of lies and manipulation and fraud that will lead us back to exposing 2020. But this shit takes time. Shit takes time. Yeah. Now, as far as like somebody like Pam Bondi, I think she is terrible. I don't think she's done a good job at all. And I think that that is a valid criticism for sure. But I mean, look, man, the most important thing right now is focusing on Nick Shirley, who is now facing death threats because of course he is, because this is what happens to the left right here. They get exposed and then they threaten to kill you.
Have you gotten any threats? Like
Yeah,
actual
lots.
death threats?
Yeah, well, in person and also
Can you tell me
online.
about that? Like, are they
Well,
messaging you saying, we're going to get you? What are they saying to you?
Yeah, like they're saying, oh, like kirked. You're going to be kirked.
You're going to be kirked. That's what they're saying to
Yeah,
you.
like you're the next.
Bunch
You'll
of
be the next
dirtbags.
Kirk. And it's just like, are you kidding me? 'Cause it's not even like I hate what's happening right now. Like I feel bad for my family, honestly, because it's like, yeah, like we didn't do anything wrong, and yet you guys are coming after me like I'm some sort of villain, right? So I'm like, my little sister's getting phone calls. I'm like,
And this is why, and this is nothing against Nick Shirley at all, obviously. But he said something in this video right here, okay? This video right here. And this is the point about all of these fucking people. Listen.
And this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's
See how he says it's sad that it's being labeled on the Somali population. They don't care. They don't care about your nice words to try to qualify. They don't care. I know what he's doing. I've been there. I've done that. They don't care. They don't care if you say that it's not all of them. They don't fucking care. They want you dead.
Why are you guys doing this?
Your little sister's getting phone calls.
Yeah, from like the news. I'm like, okay, don't talk to my family. I mean, some news in India, they doxed my home. They doxed my dad. It was really weird. I haven't even told my dad about that because I just don't want to even bother him about it.
Well, Dad, you know now.
But like they put it, like, it's just like, are you guys kidding me? Like, why are you guys coming after somebody for going against fraud? Like, I didn't make this a right or left issue. I just showed you guys that fraud was happening, and now you guys are.
It's because the mainstream media has labeled him a MAGA influencer. That's exactly what's happened. By the way, I see you crazy mad lads. I saw Kate drop the 50 to start us out. I'll get to that. Munchie Ninja, a name I have never messed up on this stream. Never messed that name up. And I see Miles for a proper 199. I got to sleep, but Happy New Year and hail Cobra. Holy crap. Thank you, brother. Get some rest. Nandy with a 50. You guys are blowing it up. Thank you. Listen, somebody said, Jeremy, you missed a lot of grifting last week. You must have been really sick. I was.
Coming after me, you're saying, yo, I'll be the next Kirk. You're literally stopping at intersections and coming after me and trying to attack me. Like, why are you so evil? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you defending fraud? Do you like money being stolen? No. Then what are you doing? You're a racist. No, I'm not a racist. I'm just telling you what the facts are. You guys are stealing money from the people that are working hard here inside the United States. I was literally talking to a black man, and then the Somali man comes out, and he's also black. So I can't understand what they're thinking, calling me a racist. I'm having a great conversation with a black man, and then another black man comes up, and he's Somali descent, and he comes and attacks me for being a racist. Like, no, I'm not a racist.
And they don't care about that because they'll just be like, oh, you have a black friend. Well, I have a lot of black friends, and I'm black from the waist down, and I have an N-word pass someone gave me, and they still call me racist. They still call me racist. I have an N-word pass. I got it in my wallet. Somebody gave it to me at Meetup.
Racist. It's so stupid. And that's why the fraud has been able to happen for so long, because people like Tim Waltz are afraid to be called racist. And me and my generation, we're over it. Like, we don't care.
Oh, I love that, buddy.
Like, we do not care. Call us a racist. I do not care because I am not a racist. We're just seeing that prices of homes are so expensive. I don't even have a friend that can afford a home. People aren't getting married because of how expensive things are. And we're paying so much money in taxes. Most kids are, I'm lucky because I didn't go to college, but most kids are starting their life off behind the starting line. They're thousands of dollars in the debt. And so, yes, we're upset because you guys are stealing millions of dollars and getting rich. And then you're bragging about the white man working on TikTok. Who's actually the racist? You're the racist. You're the one saying the white man, you were.
We got somebody here in the chat. It's informing us that Nick Shirley is Israel first. Is that why he's out there risking his fucking life and you're in the comments of a fucking grifter YouTuber whining about Israel? Okay.
Work, white woman. You work, white man. We're sick of it. Nobody cares. Like, stop committing fraud. If you're going to be here, be happy to be here and work hard like we're working hard. Whether you're black, Mexican, Asian, white, just go and work. And don't start playing this victim card and start trying to make things political about money, for instance, or don't get mad at people for making money. Like, that's why America is the greatest country in the world, is because of capitalism. And we had 250 years to do it. All these other countries had thousands of years to do it, but they didn't do it. That's why we have to protect what's ours.
This dude is, he's got guts, man. And what we're seeing right now is pretty insane. But I highly respect what he's out there doing. I hope that I saw that, like, is it Brandon Tatum said that he had helped get security organized for Nick Shirley before even this whole thing happened. So that's a good thing. And I hope this guy's taking that very seriously because trust me, he's going to need it. I saw let me see if I can find it. There was and it's, to me, it's about as a direct of a threat as you could find from a mainstream outlet. Don't know if I can find it, but it was so obvious. It was a Fox account right here. Yeah, right here. Check this out, okay? Look at this. This Fox account says Nick Shirley was seen in Minneapolis on Tuesday, days after the release of the viral video in which he claimed to uncover $110 million in fraud at 10 Minnesota daycare facilities. What did you mean by this, Fox 9? What is the point of this? What is the point of this post right here? This seems about as obvious as you can get without them saying it. Hey guys, that Nick Shirley MAGA YouTuber guy, he was seen out in public. Absolutely insane. Fucking disgusting. But that's the media for you. That's what they do. They don't care. Yeah, you had the CNN deal. Let me see if so CNN, a CNN reporter tried to debunk him. It didn't go very well. It did not go very well at all. CNN has tried to spin this story. It's so funny. So right here, CNN appears to try to debunk Nick Shirley reporting on fraud, calls the daycares featured in the video only to have one respond.
Done enough. I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children? They're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
Done enough. I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going.
Sorry, I muted so you guys could boost the volume a little bit because I know the volume sucks on those. But yeah, so they didn't even acknowledge the businesses in question because what CNN wants to do is investigate Nick Shirley. That's what they want to do. Now, I got some tough news. Again, guys, this is tough. I know we meme a lot, we're sarcastic, but this is a serious issue right here. And I want to speak to everybody. I want to speak to everyone. Theft is unacceptable. Okay? Theft is unacceptable. One of the owners of a Somali daycare says someone broke in and stole the student enrollment and employee documentation. Can you believe this? Someone broke in to this well-established business and stole all their documentation.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voicemails threatening us for the past couple.
I tell you, man, I have never I have never, ever seen anyone on the internet receive any hateful messages unless they were black. Nobody, unless you are black, you are just cruising the internet with compliments and praise and love. It is just like the nicest place ever, dude. Just try being a white dude on the internet. Man, I'm just like cruising. Everybody's like, hey, white guy. Hey, man, good to see you. All of your opinions on movies and video games are 100% accurate. Hey, I see you're wearing an Alabama shirt. Roll Tide. They never say anything other than full support. The internet is so nice to me as a white dude.
Days, including one that happened yesterday morning when after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this.
It's interesting that he's not worried about the person that broke into his place of business and stole all of his documentation, but he's upset that an individual made a video. But he's not worried about the person that broke in. No. We're not worried about that guy. Not worried about that guy. Now, listen. Could that be P. Diddy? It kind of looks like P. Diddy. Okay? It looks like P. Diddy. Not going to lie. He looks a little bit like P. Diddy. So, but the fact that I have a recommendation for you. Somali. He says Somali Americans like to stick together. Okay. I have a crazy idea for you. Now, I've been known to say a few crazy things here and there. Okay. So just go with me. If in fact Somalis like to stick together, and if in fact they are proud of who they are and their heritage, I have an idea for you. Go back to Somalia. I know it's a great. You would think if it was such a wonderful, wonderful place full of wonderful people and wonderful, ideas and behavior, high IQ, very high IQ, the highest IQ, some say the best. You would think they would all want to be together in their wonderful, wonderful area of Somalia. Yet they're all in America. Interesting how that works out, huh? But yes, one thing that Nick Shirley did say, and I think that this is something that is just kind of obvious, like this generation does not care about labels, about being called this, that, or the other. And that's going to continue, by the way. For me, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I mean, especially racism, the term racism, being labeled a racist in the 80s and the 90s, that actually meant something. When you were labeled a racist, it's because it was not good, and people genuinely stayed away from these people. You're like, oh shit, man, that as a racist, that's not good. You don't want to be near racist people. Because back then they weren't playing identity politics like what started under Barack Hussein Obama. Now, the term racist is actually a compliment. It's actually a compliment. It actually means that you have your own opinions and that you are not an NPC, that You are not controlled by the media, and you're not controlled by people that are lifelong victims and worry about everything through the lens of identity politics. So I every time I get called a racist, actually, when I don't get called a racist, I get upset because it doesn't matter. No one cares what these people think. Racist, sexist, misogynist, whatever. It doesn't matter. Labels don't matter. No one cares. It's laughable. These words mean nothing. They're memes now. And this generation that is, kind of been raised on the internet, they seriously do not care. And they are leaning into it far more than somebody like me does. So, but the bigger picture here is, how is the Trump administration going to respond to this story? Yada, yada, yada. And they already are responding in a lot of ways. So right here, fraud is fraud. We've already heard, we've heard from the administration and how their response is.
On one of our biggest stories heading into the new year, the Department of Health and Human Services is cutting off all federal child care payments to Minnesota. This in response to allegations of sweeping fraud. And the White House says there will be consequences.
This is a top priority for the administration. The Department of Justice, as we speak, is continuing to execute search warrants and subpoenas. People will be in handcuffs as a result of the fraud that Governor Walz has allowed to occur for the...
I hope she understands the power of those words, because we're not looking for a bunch of illegals to be in handcuffs. We're looking for people like Tim Walz to be in handcuffs. That's what we're looking for. And if there is no follow through on that, that's going to be a big fucking problem.
For many, many years.
Well, a YouTuber who made a viral video on the scandal was seen squaring off with protesters outside of a daycare center. We have Garrett Tenney. He has more on all of this from Chicago. Good morning, Garrett.
Molly, good morning to you. This is a big move by HHS. It adds to the several other federal agencies that have already paused funding for Minnesota over those concerns of fraud. So now the $185 million a year that HHS provides the state for childcare is on hold. And starting immediately, the agency says the rubber stamping of payments through its administration for children and families is over. Every payment will now...
The way they say YouTuber. Yeah. And Marco, by the way, I know you dropped 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. I see you, John freaking Murdoch. I see you in the chat. Yeah, it is very like the mainstream, the Fox Newses of the world. They still are not, like, I know Fox tries to cover different stuff that CNN or MSNBC won't. Fox still hates YouTubers because they realize that YouTubers have taken their jobs and taken their thunder, their relevancy. They can't stand YouTubers.
Require a justification and a receipt or photo evidence before a state can receive that funding. The ACF Assistant Secretary says the pause on funding is necessary until we know how rampant the fraud.
What should they call him? They should say an investigative journalist, Nick Shirley, who is a YouTuber who's been doing this for years, has uncovered massive fraud. That way, you give him credibility. You're establishing that this guy didn't just pop up out of nowhere, because the way that the mainstream media is showing that is like it's just a guy who had a camera who was harassing a bunch of black people. That's how the masses will take it, because most of these people have heard of Nick Shirley for the first time through this, with no actual, credibility given to the fact that he's been doing this for I don't know how many years. I'm not saying I've been when I cover a lot of the riots and the things like that, he would always be live. So that's how I was aware of him. But he's been doing this for a long time. People in the chat can tell me how long he's been doing it. I don't know how long he's been doing it, but he's been doing it for a while. So he didn't just pop up yesterday in Minnesota.
Fraud in the childcare space really is.
Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
HHS is also setting up a nationwide hotline for folks to report suspected fraud in the child care space wherever they are. And the agency is also demanding Minnesota Governor Tim Walz turn over detailed.
Bro, Tree Bear is too fast. Tree Bear! You already got Kata memed on this. Holy shit, Tree Bear. Good Lord, that was fast.
Records on the daycare centers highlighted in Nick Shirley's viral video. Yesterday, the YouTuber was back outside the Quality Learning Center where he was confronted by a small group that was not happy about what he's doing there.
You're not going to believe what's in it. This was all day yesterday. Hundreds of cars lined up.
By the way, so they are selling these hoodies, the Quality Learning Center. They are this is so good.
Along Cedar Avenue, honking, screaming, swearing, threatening us.
It's crazy what's happening here in Minnesota. People work way too hard for billions of dollars, whether it's a Republican doing the fraud or a Democrat doing the fraud. Fraud is fraud. So we should hold each and every single person accountable for it.
And you'll remember the sign of the Quality Learning Center that had misspelled learning a few days ago. Well, that sign is now fixed, as federal officials say.
Calling it the Quality Learning Center and not even being able to spell learning is the greatest fucking meme I've ever seen. It's absolutely incredible.
Hundreds of investigators from the FBI, DHS, and ICE are now digging into all of the fraud schemes that have allegedly been taking place in Minnesota now for years. Molly?
Yeah, a lot of questions to come, systemic issues at hand. I wonder who paid to fix the sign. Garrett, thank you very much. Garrett Tenney.
Again, I think that it's to be noted right now that after what happened with Charlie Kirk, I think that, man, what Nick Shirley is out there doing with the attention that's on him now, because now this is the NPCs have gotten their download, and Nick Shirley is the new enemy right now. He is the new enemy. Absolute nothing but respect for this dude, man, for him to be out there doing that.
We appreciate it. Mike?
Molly, let's bring in Hugh Hewitt, Fox News contributor. Hugh, good morning.
Hey, Mike, good morning.
I'd like to start with a clip from Tricia McLaughlin from Homeland Security, and then I'll get your take on this scandal.
Our Homeland Security investigators, hundreds are on the ground. They're knocking doors. They're going to local businesses. They're going to these sites where we believe that there is rampant fraud. Our Homeland Security investigators on the ground are also seeing that these suspected perpetrators are really trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to whitewash the operational facts on the ground, purporting to be a legitimate business, have legitimate business operations, when it's all a fugazi.
What's your assessment at this point, Hugh?
Well, Mike, it is sort of like octopuses wrestling. It began in 2021. It picked up a lot of speed late last year when 78 people were indicted, 52 were convicted. Scott Johnson over at Powerline has been covering this for a few years, but now it's ramped up even more because of the Nick Shirley YouTube video and Director Patel of the FBI surging these resources as well as DHS into Minnesota. It is alleged by First Assistant United States Attorney Joe Thompson, who's a career federal prosecutor.
By the way, this is only the beginning, because look right here. Cam Higbee goes to this daycare in Washington State and they run away from him. Can I get an application for my kid? And they run inside. Here we go.
Hi, is this Omar Muna Childcare? Yeah. I was wondering if I could get an application.
An application?
Yeah. Is that possible?
Yeah, but are you trying to enroll a kid or is it?
Yeah, for my kid. I'm sorry to bug you. What's that?
Imagine going to a place of business and getting treated like this.
Hi. Are you guys Omar? You guys are Omar Muna? I was just looking for an application. For the childcare. You don't know about the childcare? I thought you just said this was Omar Muna childcare. What's that? Okay, that's kind of weird. Trash.
What's up with the front end on that car? Holy shit. You can't afford a new car with all that like fraud that's going on? Or is this a cover? Is this a cover? Like with Gus in Breaking Bad, he drives like a basic dad vehicle.
Trash everywhere. So I just went to Omar Muna childcare right here and asked if I could get an application for my child to enroll them. And the older woman inside the building said that she had no idea about the childcare that's allegedly out of this building. The other woman said that she's well aware of the childcare, and this is our Omar Muna childcare. Well, I said this is Omar Muna.
This is the state spending page for Omar Muna, as you can see here.
This is like Nick Shirley has started something that is going to be, and again, for all of the people that are out there trying to say that Trump hasn't done anything, Trump has embraced this type of independent journalist. Nick Shirley was at the White House like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, at a round table asking Trump questions. Yes, this is all because this would not be happening if Trump was not in office. Do you think this would be happening? Nick Shirley would be in prison right now if Trump was not in office. Nick Shirley would 100% be in prison if Democrats ran the White House and he did this. He would be in jail.
$191,000. This is just in 2025. The last biennium, which includes the first half of 2025, paid them out $74,000. Now, what's interesting is, check this out. They're licensed for 12 kids. You can see that right here. They have 10 available slots, which means they can take on 10 children with a license capacity of 12. They only have 2 kids. $191,000 this year for 2 children. The inspection report is surprisingly clean, minus one failed or missed training. I noticed that their license goes all the way back to 2005. The earliest tax grant biennium we can look at is 2013-2015, where they made $164,000. 96K 2015 to 2017, $176,000 2017 to 2019. It goes on and on and on. Their income on the state spending website, so this is where the state allocates its funding and tells the public where it's sending its money to, is classified under goods and services.
This is wild, man. And again, it's just the beginning because of what Nick Shirley's doing. And I will go back to something I said the other day, but I kind of just can't help but to just think about how important Elon Musk is in all of this. Because if we didn't have Elon Musk, if we didn't have Twitter, if he would not have purchased Twitter, I just look back to that being a defining moment in, our entire, history. If that doesn't happen, none of this happens. We don't find any of this out. Again, dude, there's so many scams out there. It's out of control. And so finding out about this is beautiful. Right here, Elon says it. This is a big red pill. He is correct.
This scandal is totally appalling, but it is
audio's
also
kind of crap here.
Surprising, and that's because it's a microcosm of what ails the Democratic elites. That's our Why It Matters segment for the night. The latest revelations join others in which suspected Somali fraudsters stole more than $9 billion in federal funds from 14 state-run agencies dating back to 2018. Somali Americans make up 89% of the defendants charged. The absolute scale of the fraud just beggars belief. Where were the spot checks? Where were the officials? It seems totally impossible that the Democratic leadership was not somehow in on this. Just think about how outrageous this is. You are wondering whether you can afford to have another child because childcare is so expensive. Meanwhile, a group of Somalis in Minnesota got $110 million for childcare centers that don't exist. You can't afford to buy a home, but 100 Somalis spent millions on luxury properties, millions of your taxpayer dollars. You're paying $30,000.
And I know people are saying, like, what do we do? What do we do? Support Trump. Simple as that. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to spin this bullshit because, listen, you've got a lot of libertarians that pretended to support Trump to build their following before the election. And then a couple of months into it, after the honeymoon period ended, a lot of those libertarian people that were labeled Trump supporters have turned on Trump. They didn't turn on Trump. They were never Trump supporters to begin with. And then, of course, you have a bunch of DeSantis supporters that pretended to support Trump. And then honeymoon period ended and they all turned on Trump too. And then the narrative built that Trump supporters are turning on Trump. It's bullshit.
$1,000 a year for terrible health care, and they got millions for healthcare centers that they never opened for patients that they never serviced. But the fraud is a microcosm of an illness that plagues our political elites, especially on the left. More broadly, everybody comes before you. For decades, the Democrats have pushed for mass migration, both legal and illegal, which drove down the wages of working class Americans while making competition for housing, healthcare, and an education, the hallmarks of the American dream, even fiercer. And if you objected, if you had the audacity to ask why your children were being disinherited in your country, the Democratic elites called you racist. Leftist American elites developed an entire woke
Trump 2048, we can only hope. But right here is where Nick Shirley was talking with Alex Jones about Elon Musk.
Thank you, Elon Musk, because what he's done has helped shape society in many ways, whether it be the election, or whether it just be making it so that we can all speak freely here in the United States. And you're seeing the ripple effect across the other countries as well. Just thank you. Really, thank you, because what he did by just leveling out the playing field and giving us a platform where we can speak freely, he's not only helped save the United States, he's helping save the United Kingdom, as people are actually able to speak out, whether or not they're able to speak out all across the world. I mean, X is the #1 news source for most countries in the world right now, because that people are able to get that news just straight from their phone without having to go through and get a subscription from the Wall Street Journal to get some propaganda piece. You can get it straight from your phone. You can follow the people that you trust and that are actually out there in the streets talking to people. So thank you, Elon Musk, because what he's done has helped shape society in many ways, whether it be the election, or whether.
So, I mean, you just can't, give Elon enough credit. Now, to the nothing ever happens crowd out there, U.S. is poised to end 2025 with the largest one-year drop in homicides ever recorded, per ABC. So if ABC's reporting on it and it's good news for Trump, you know that there's probably some legitimacy there. But nothing ever happens, guys. Nothing ever happens, except a lot is happening. A lot has happened since Donald Trump took office, and a lot more needs to happen. But let's not act like a lot hasn't happened, because an unbelievable amount has happened. And Trump has done incredible stuff since taking office. Now, right here, just in, Elon Musk confirms the full force of Doge is being thrust against Minnesota Somali fraud. and all care centers nationwide. HHS DOJ is now demanding receipts and evidence to release any funding to care centers. Elon, this straightforward proof of work requirement, which is trivial for any legitimate organization to provide, is basic common sense and will have a very positive effect on reducing fraud. So, of course, DOJ isn't going anywhere, and it hasn't. And Elon continuing to show that he is, in my opinion, arguably the single most important person in the world, along with Donald Trump. I mean, these two guys are so important to what is going on right now, and all the other stuff is just noise. Again, Elon, Elon's Elon. He's an interesting guy from time to time, but this is what happens when you have a super genius like this guy. Then you gotta deal with the crazy that comes with it. Right here, Scott Jennings has been crushing it over this topic as well.
They're rounding up everybody who is involved in fraud.
No, they're not rounding up her. They're all talking about Somalis. That's the point.
I want them to round up anyone who is involved in defrauding American taxpayers of what apparently amounts to $9 billion in a very, very small state. Somali, whether they're citizens, immigrants, white, I don't care.
You don't care if
I
they
want
target
the
one
fraud to stop.
But do you support
want
the targeting
fraud
of
to
this
stop.
one community or
I
not?
support the
You think that's
targeting.
the right thing to do?
I support the
Or do you
targeting
think
of
that's the
people
wrong thing
engaged
to
in
do?
fraud.
But do you support the targeting of the Somali American community
If
as
they are-
directed by the president
if they
of
are
the United States
engaged in
based on their
fraud,
ethnicity?
That's not what he said.
That's
B,
it.
That is precisely
that's
what
exactly
he
if they are
said.
engaged in fraud and because they're American citizens, should that make them immune?
That's a straw man argument.
No.
Just answer the question.
I did.
Should we
I want
target
anyone
people
involved in
based on
fraud
their
to be targeted.
ethnicity?
Anyone involved in fraud.
But not based on their ethnicity.
I want it based on whether they're involved in
Is this
fraud.
really so hard to answer that question?
Yes.
I
Scott?
want it.
Yes.
Is it
I
so
said
hard
the only
to sit there and
criteria
say we shouldn't target people
the
based on
only
their ethnicity?
criteria I
Can you
have
say
is fraud.
we shouldn't
Can you
target
say-
people based on
can
their
you
ethnicity?
say-
I
can
can
you-
say that.
can
Can
you
you
say
say
that-
that?
I can say
I
that.
can say
Absolutely.
everyone
It should not be
here can
targeted.
say
Can you
Anyone
say
who's
targeting
not a
people based
deplorable
on their
human
ethnicity
being
is
can
bad.
say you
But
shouldn't
Scott
target
Jennings
people.
won't say that. Why won't you say that?
Because
Scott?
I don't agree that that's what's happening. I
no,
don't agree with your fallacy. I don't agree with your stupid.
You've heard Donald Trump say that.
Ad hominem attacks
is-
are the
it is-
lowest form of argument, Scott.
The lowest form
You
of
can call
argument
me
is to come out
stupid.
here and accuse me of some kind of
I know,
race-based
I-
argument. There's
I'm
$9 billion
asking you for
in
what you
fraud,
believe.
and you don't care. That's the main problem.
So look, hold on a second. I think we've seen Hold on a clearly what second. Scott thinks about it. Hold on a
Yeah, I
second.
think we've seen
So
clearly
there are a
that you
couple
don't
of
care about
things.
$9 billion.
Yesterday.
Oh man, watching this shit show play out has been glorious. Yes, what's her name? Abby, is that her name? The black chick. She is the worst. She's awful. Now, what I love here is that the Rapid Response tweeted this out yesterday, and this is an old tweet from Trump, but they blurred out everything except for the part where Trump said the seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both. Abby Phillips, that's right, that's her name. So Tim Walz has blamed all of this on Trump, by the way. All of this is Donald Trump's fault. That's what Tim Walz's response has been to all of this. It's Donald Trump's fault, everybody. It's not Tim Walz's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. You heard it here first. That is that's the go-to every single time. So like right here.
Freezing childcare payments to Minnesota as federal authorities dig deeper to root out fraud in the state.
But Democratic Governor Tim Walz is hitting back, saying the president is politicizing the issue.
Yeah, David Spunt joins us live from Washington, D.C. He's got the latest. David?
Hi, good morning, Joey, Tommy, and Griff. A top Health and Human Services official here in D.C. says, quote, "We have turned off the money spigot and we are finding the fraud," end quote. Here's Deputy HHS Secretary Jim O'Neill.
I've activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF childcare payments across America. We're committed to holding bad actors accountable.
Who is the girl in the middle for Fox? That's the artist formerly known as Tomi Lahren. She doesn't even look like Tomi Lahren anymore. So shout out to her plastic surgeon, though.
regardless of rank or office.
I will say, and again, I appreciate what these guys are saying, but when I saw this clip of these guys for the first time, I couldn't help but think about the Bobs from Office Space. I just felt like these are the Bobs. They're showing up. They're gonna try to fire everybody. Like, it felt like the Bobs.
Anyone who's involved in perpetrating this fraud against the American people should expect to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Now, the allegations continue to pile on in the Trump administration, hitting the state of Minnesota in several ways. First, from a law enforcement perspective, you see Homeland Security investigators there on the ground in Minnesota yesterday and the day before, and they will continue probing.
They're knocking doors. They're going to local businesses. They're going to these sites where we believe that there is rampant fraud, whether it be daycare centers, healthcare centers, or other organizations that take taxpayer dollars.
And perhaps, guys, the catalyst for the investigation is this place exposed by a social...
Okay, I really need somebody, now that I've said it, the Bobs from Office Space. I need someone, one of our wonderful memers out there. You need to take this clip from Office Space and you need to edit a Somali in this, okay? Like, this would be internet gold, okay?
What you do at Initech is you take the specifications from the customers and you bring them down to the software engineers.
Yes, that's right.
Well, then I just have to ask, why couldn't the customers just take them directly to the software people, huh?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because engineers are not good at dealing with customers.
So you physically take the specs from the customer?
Well, no, my secretary does that, or the fax.
So then you must physically bring them to the software people.
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Oh man, this has got to be clipped in, man. This is what we got to do right here. We need the Bobs to go to Minnesota. Ask the tough questions. What would you say you do here? Please tell us.
Media watchdog named Nick Shirley, who investigated, he says this place received state funding, but was not operating as an active daycare center. It was empty, and it actually had the word learning spelled wrong. The owner had to actually correct it, as you see right there, and put up the correct spelling. Governor Tim Walz responding to the overall controversy about the funding, saying this is Trump's long game. We've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a
okay. So on one hand, you have the libertarians and the DeSantis bros saying Trump never does anything. Trump never does anything. Trump never does anything. Now, you've got an independent journalist that has exposed Tim Walz, the former vice presidential nominee for Cackling Kamala. And Tim Walz blames Trump.
Serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defend programs that help Minnesotans. Now, the Department of Health and Human Services wants Governor Walz to provide a, quote, comprehensive audit of the centers. The request includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections. Tommy, Griff, Joey.
All right, David Spunt, live for us in Washington.
And yes, that is Tommy Lahren right there. She's had a lot of work. Let me get to a few of these. You guys have been insane. Thank you. Kate for 50 says, Happy New Year. My fur baby's thyroidectomy went better than expected for cat parents. Radiation is not the only answer. I've been sick for 8 days, but it doesn't matter because DJ, a girl named after Jeter, is doing fan-effing-tastic. Well, happy to hear that, Kate. I was, a lot of people have had either the the flu or a cold or whatever. And that's what I was dealing with. And I know a lot of people that were dealing with the same thing. So glad everything is going well for you. There's Marco with those 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. Jimbo says, hey, Jeremy, thought you were dead. Not yet. Not yet. Man, you would think for me to miss that much grifting, though, I would have been. Munchie Ninja. Watching that video made me so angry. I said so many gamer words. And then out of the rat's nest, the paid shill influencers defending this is so disgusting. Yeah. What's his name? It's those, the gay brothers, the ambiguously gay duo brothers on Twitter. Starts with a K. Kranzensteins. The Kranzensteins have been going crazy defending this Somali fraud. Like, they have been going crazy defending it. It's unbelievable. Asmongold just annihilated one of those losers with one of the best ratios we've seen in a long time. Miles for that proper 199. Got to sleep, and Happy New Year and hail Cobra. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I hope you're getting rest. Nandy for 50 says, this is why I avoid MAGA influencers online, because they live online and expect results in days. Investigations, prosecutions take time. Yes. And that's just, that is truly it, man. When I say this with love, but perpetually online people. And I am online a lot, okay? Trust me, I'm online a lot. But people that have no concept of the real world, and every fiber of their existence is their Twitter feed and YouTube feed. And they're just like, they just live in this world, this cycle of like insanity. And they just constantly need, results. And they have no time. And again, it goes back to TikTok. It goes back to the TikTok, kind of mindset where social media has broken so many people's brains and they just expect results immediately. Nandy for another 50 says, fake MAGA Trump administration should overrule judicial branch and take immediate actions. Libtards, Trump is a king. We won't bow to him. Basically, he needs to be a king for immediate action and satisfy these fakers, but in the process, prove the libs right. You said it perfectly. They accuse Trump of being a king, yet he does listen and he accepts when things are happening. It's crazy. He actually does need to be king. Make Trump king right now. I'll vote for it. Babo Yogi for 20 says, message donation for the new Minnesota 199 daycare fund. Jay's dyslexic son, Beardo, would be great at teaching kids how not to read. Glad you recovered from the Jades, but sad you just survived becoming straight. Mod Lives Matter. Thank you, Babo Yogi. Appreciate that. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, hey, Jeremy, you're looking a little pale today. You feeling all right? Or maybe it's that gay lighting you have going on. Mod Lives Matter, Chat Lives Matter. Hail the 199 and Happy New Year, Jessica. See there, Jessica? You got to mention. I know you're happy. We've got Mark of Reality for $100. Says, I remember when Elon was setting up Doge and he reported that 4.7 trillion was missing, and I and some others in your chat were pretty infuriated by that. I wonder if this is part of that, or in addition to that, probably extra because we're just now finding out. I would think it's probably extra, personally. If I'm guessing, I would think so. Swanee for $100 says, Happy New Year, you handsome racist fig. Appreciate all the stuff I done learning from you in 2025. My IQ has dropped significantly since I started watching CobraCast. Hail to Unit 199. Hail to Geeks and Gamers. Hail to the Snake Pit. Mod Lives Matter. Chat Lives Matter. Thank you so much. Nobody's IQ is improved by watching this show. I could guarantee you that, okay? Not one single person's IQ has improved. That's the unfortunate reality.
it's very rich that Governor Walz, who, by the way, is running for re-election for a third term as governor in a state that now has been uncovered, what is called the tip of the iceberg of a $9 billion widespread, large-scale fraud.
And excuse me, Griff, politicizing the issue. Yeah, it's a political issue. I think it's an issue of importance here. I think the Trump administration probably needs to not just gloss over this one. Americans are frustrated. You see it all over X with Nick Shirley's video, 100 million.
Tommy Lahren was a DeSantis bro, by the way. Just want to, just for clarification, Tommy Lahren was a DeSantis bro.
Views. People are fired up. They want to see accountability. They want to see transparency. They also want to see people arrested. They want to see people deported. They want to see people denaturalized. They don't want more talk, more hearings, and more nothingness. They want to see something actually done this time. I hope 2026 is the year of accountability. I'm manifesting that.
What really blows us out of the water for me is that Tim Walz, his response is basically, it's exactly what it was for the last 10 years while people have looked into this, which is basically, well, you're racist. You're racist if you care. You're racist if you go looking into businesses owned by Somalis. And it's like, no, you call me whatever you want. So what? It's not about racism. It's about billions of dollars in a scheme that seems to be.
Dude, that's got to be one of the best comments. All right, hang on. My IQ is so low after this show, I now identify as a trans Somali. That's really good.
Be cultivated among an entire community of people, and if it means that you have to point a magnifying glass at the Somali community in Minnesota because it's that rampant or it's that protected, that's not racism. That's doing your job. I mean, if you're the governor of Minnesota, you've got two options here, Tim Walz. You either are so bad at your job you didn't know what was happening, or you're so corrupt in your job that you tried to cover it up, or you're complicit in it. Pick your poison. Neither one really is a good resume builder for whatever's next for that guy. Maybe he needs to retire and go learn how to load a shotgun.
Well, he's not retiring. He's running again, and it's unclear, Joey, what his campaign slogan is. It must be something along the lines of, no, I'll fix it now. Trust me, I'm the right guy to do it. He's taken on a couple of initiatives. He says he's going to appoint a program integrity director.
Don't you love
and
it?
It's like, why wasn't there one there to begin with? And he's going to spend taxpayer money further to hire an outside firm to do an audit, which I'm sure that Minnesota taxpayers who are already been stolen from are not happy about having to now pay more money to fix the problem that occurred on his watch. But I think you have a real important point, Joey, and that is this focus on the Somalian community, because 85 of 98 people charged are of Somali descent.
Yeah.
Over 60 have been convicted. And so it is not a
But do you know what Democrats are worried about? This guy breaks it down pretty good in this video right here. Volume is going to be a little high on this video compared to a lot of the other clips. So fair warning for headphone users. The volume's a little high on the video I'm about to play. Here we go.
Nick Shirley is the problem. If you want to get to the root problem of the United States, it's Nick Shirley and people just like him. The problem is definitely not $9 billion of fraudulent spending of $18 billion allocated towards Medicaid. It's not the fact that we don't have any auditing or any checks and balances or any verification process to see if the services are even being provided. It has nothing to do with the fact that we just pay any invoice that comes across the government desk with no questions or verification process at all. It has nothing to do with 85% of a certain segment of population in Minnesota takes advantage of government services like SNAP and Medicaid, or the fact that millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, wound up in the hands of terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab. It has nothing to do with the fact that this level of fraud in Medicaid happened under the nose of Tim Walz and his administration, or every governmental official or auditing group or process within that state. It's not the fact that this is probably actually happening in every state in the United States. It's Nick Shirley for helping to uncover it and show you that they're billing for services and companies that don't even do anything or even really exist.
It's all Nick Shirley's fault. He's the problem, guys. He's the problem. Now, the memes are unstoppable. When you attend the Leering Center as a child, here we go.
Wool Host annual annual meeting of
Teh. Beardo would actually say teh. Instead of the, Beardo would be like teh. What up, Harley Dave? I see you, brother. Oh my goodness. Now, hang on. What is this? What is this? This Somali daycare or worker erupts after independent journalist Cam Higbee asked for an application. So is this another one?
Hi, is this Tawakal Daycare? I was wondering if I could get an application for my son. Would that be possible?
There were a couple of kids in there at least. So that's positive, I guess.
Can I get an application?
Damn.
So this is Tawakal Daycare that's received over $100,000 since 2023. I went, knocked on the door, asked for an application. The younger woman yelled upstairs to the older woman and asked for an application or something. I couldn't tell what she was saying, speaking Somali. And the older woman came downstairs yelling at her, "Why'd you open the door? Why'd you open the door? Why would you do that?" And then she slammed the door in my face. So very bizarre behavior for a legitimate daycare business that is not committing fraud to freak out and close the door on somebody requesting an application.
So here we have a very similar story. We have Tawakal Daycare at the DCYF website owned by Guled Edo. They have a total licensed capacity of 9 kids, and they have 6 available slots, which means they only have 3 children. Okay. There's 2 Tawakal daycares listed on the state expenditure website, one grossing $100,000 just since July. That was Tawakal Family Child Care, which if we go back to their report, it seems that's the one because they're a family child care home. We go back to the state expenditure website, and the other Tawakal Daycare LLC has raked in $99,000. Again, just since July.
Again, people can be frustrated if they want. I personally am very motivated by the fact that so many people are out there, independent journalists like Cam Higbee, like Nick Shirley, and it's just going to create more of those types of people that are going to go out and investigate independently that's going to blow the lid off of this. That is how I'm looking at this story. Yes, it's frustrating, but you have to take things into perspective. What's the alternative? The alternative is we could have had Kamala Harris, and all of these people would be not even able to do what they're doing, but Twitter wouldn't be operating like it's operating. YouTube wouldn't be operating like it's I couldn't even talk about shit like this on YouTube if Kamala would have won. I wouldn't even be able to talk about this shit. None of these people would have the platforms they have. None of them. But instead, now we get shit like this instead. All right. Somali woman standing in Minnesota daycare pretends that she's breaking down in tears as she reads "Fraud is Bad" off of her script. This is beyond pathetic. Apparently, they didn't Lear theater growing up. Here we go.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It physically hurts to listen to this shit. God. I saw this one going around right here.
First things first, I'm actually so shocked that Trump is attacking us. I think Trump should be thanking us in multiple ways, and I'm going to explain. First things first, I think we are a good example of what the American dream can look like. Like, Somali Americans
Let me just say, hail to the no. In no way, shape, or form does that resemble what the American dream looks like. Because we know what the Somali dream looks like. Because you all left Somalia to come over here.
And it's making me sad and it's funny. Like, I know Somali people are very funny. We're like the class clan who also happens to be valedictorian. Somalis in Minnesota are so successful. I take multiple trips a year to Minnesota and I leave so inspired. You have Somali only, like, Somali.
Hang on. I gotta address this. Hang on. Where's it at? What up, ABF? Somebody said something in the chat. Okay. Jeremy, you do understand you are doing the same thing. What if the other side did? Wait, hang on. Jeremy, you do. Did you go to the Leering Center? Jeremy, do you understand you are doing the same thing? What if the other side did the wild time Trump was running? She lost, but I don't think the sky would have fallen down if she won. I would address what you said. I'm going to be honest. When you said it, I skimmed over it and I thought I was going to be able to roast it. I don't know what the fuck you said. So we're just going to move on from that one because I don't know how to respond to what you said. But thank you and congratulations on the Leering Center. Fuck. I wanted to respond to that one too.
Owned law firms, Somali-owned pharmacies, Somali-owned everything you can think of. And it's so inspiring to see that what my community could do in just 30 years. Literally, we came to this country not speaking English, not knowing anything. We're Black, Muslim, we're immigrant, and we're able to be that successful. It should be really applauded.
No, you guys are not that successful in Minnesota. 89% of immigrant Somali households are on some type of welfare. If you look above my head, you'll see that 23% are on cash. If we go over to food stamps, you'll see that 62% are on food stamps. If we go to Medicaid, you'll see that 86% are on Medicaid. So 89% of Somali immigrant families that have children are on some type of welfare in the United States. 89%.
That is crazy.
And this is coming from the Center for Immigration Studies. Now, in the vast majority of cases, if someone is on Medicaid, they are a net recipient in tax dollars, meaning the value of the benefits they receive from the government is more than they pay into the federal tax system.
Thank you, Harley.
Again, that means they're a net recipient. They are taking from the system more than they're contributing to the system.
Correct.
So essentially 9 out of 10 Somali immigrant families that have children are taking more in dollars than they are giving to our federal tax system. I wouldn't define that as success. Let's keep it real.
Again, the proof is in the pudding. What is Somalia like? What's it over there? Why aren't they just dying to get back to Somalia if they're so great? If they have created such a great culture, why the fuck don't they want to be in that wonderful culture? The proof is in the pudding. Simple as that.
We should also be paying attention to this and just not ignoring it. But let's go back. Look at the light gray. It says Somali immigrant households with children over 10 years in the U.S. So these families have had over 10 years in the United States. And there's only a 3% difference in the amount that are on Medicaid and not. So after they've been in the U.S. for 10 plus years, 83% of these Somali immigrant families with children are still on Medicaid. Again, that is not success. And that's not being racist or hating. That's just reality. So please do not come preaching in our face something that is not true. Anyway, that's all I got for now, guys. Just a reminder, free email newsletter. Send it out every morning. The link is in my bio. It's a great place to get direct information from me. And I go more in detail there than I do in many of these videos. So the link's in my profile. When you click it, you'll see the screen right.
I wanted him to get his grift in. So I've never really heard that guy before, but seems like a pretty decent dude. So, but yeah, man, this is insane. Like, it's everywhere. It's dominating the airwaves. But again, perspective is important and what people need to get. All right. Minnesota is not the end game on this. Minnesota's just the beginning. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, I saw that, Trump tweeted out that California was even worse than Minnesota. I think everybody expects that. I think everybody expects, yeah, we all know that. But so California is the most corrupt state in the country by a mile. That's not even remotely close. And you've got this whole, like, I got to say, man, you got a weird movement going on right now for like this. I am kind of shocked at how many people fall for some of this shit. Okay. I got to find it really quick. But you have this guy, who, the guy that ran over the dude on Kick the other day. He basically did an interview with Michael Knowles. Clavicular, I think's his name, or something like that. He did an interview with Michael Knowles, and he basically said that JD Vance, again, I'll never understand this kind of mindset of these, like, this younger generation of dudes that are like so obviously gay because they say that it's all about a male's looks to them. So, but this guy basically said that even though he agrees with JD Vance on politics more so than Gavin Newsom, he would be more inclined to vote for Gavin Newsom because of Gavin Newsom's looks. That's what he said. And then Nick Fuentes backed him on that. Nick Fuentes basically said, yes, because of how Gavin looks, we're going to support Gavin over JD Vance. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And so, of course, that's gone mega viral. And a lot of people are responding to that. And the whole time that I'm seeing this response, I'm thinking to myself, we meme on JD Vance all the time because he's, because of the fat JD Vance. Right here. So this is the Fuentes tweet. So JD Vance equals a fat subhuman. Newsom mogs him to death. I would vote for him 100 times over just because he's handsome. That's what this clavicular guy said. And so they're essentially saying that because Gavin Newsom is more handsome than JD Vance, that they're going to support Gavin Newsom. It's the weirdest kind of thing I've ever seen. But that's that. I guess if that's what you're into, go for it. But I don't think that that's a. I saw so. The clavicular guy, he said this, unironically, I ended JD Vance's entire fucking presidential campaign by calling him fat. And then somebody responded with the fat JD Vance meme that has made JD Vance more popular. So this guy is now like, and he's serious about it too. Like, he's serious about thinking that JD Vance, because he's not apparently, according to these guys, as handsome as Gavin Newsom, that they're all going to support Gavin Newsom. And the whole idea, the bigger theory behind this is just get Democrats back in power so that they can burn the entire system to the ground. That's the idea here. Burn the entire system to the ground, because Republicans aren't doing enough. And so they would rather Democrats go out there and burn the whole thing to the ground. And I always go back to this. If you had Kamala, you wouldn't be getting any of the answers that you have right now. You wouldn't be getting any of them. So the answer is clear. You can listen to people that are emotionally broken all day long online, and you can hear them lash out because they're not getting their TikTok results immediately. Or you can have some perspective and you can have some level of understanding, and you can be a little more emotionally, stable, and look at this and go, the reason we're finding out all of this stuff is because Trump is in office, because Trump won, because Donald Trump got shot at. And he said, fight, 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 because they tried to arrest him. And instead of cucking like Bernie Sanders, Trump said, fuck you. I'm innocent and I'm going to fight you every step of the way, no matter how many times you indict me. They raided his house in Mar-a-Lago. He said, fuck you. They did everything in their power. The GOP tried to work against him. And every step of the way, Trump stood there and said, fuck you. I'm not going anywhere. And because of that, and because of Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, we now are here. And all of this is happening. Now, again, does that mean that everything is perfect? Of course it doesn't. And I hate even talking like that, because that's how you have to talk to a child when you go, well, everything's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. Nothing in life is perfect. Nothing ever will be perfect. Everything will have problems. Life is always throwing problems at you every step of the way. That's how life works. Only, children don't understand that. But people that are adults that actually have lives and families and responsibilities understand life is not perfect. Okay. So, Sydney Sweeney's tits are perfect, but that's the only thing that's perfect. Okay. Besides Sydney Sweeney's tits. All right. But outside of that, nothing else in life is perfect. But so people that are all like, tied into, the whatever the latest trend is, that's going to happen. But for me, Trump is going to key in on election fraud with all of this Somalia fraud, daycare fraud, and it's going to open up. It's a slow burn. It's going to take time. But right here, President Trump demands Republicans get tough and secure elections in all 50 states. He's right. The Democrats are a bunch of cheaters and thieves that never want to do what's good for America. As an example, they refuse to even consider voter identification. Why? Because they want to cheat. And the Republicans should not put up with this and many other such things any longer. That's where Trump is going to focus in on. And I think that's exactly what he should focus in on. That would be the right thing, for sure. Let me see here. Was it right there? Was another thing I wanted to pull up really quick. I could find it. Oh yeah. So like right here. So Tim Walz has decided to call Nick Shirley a white supremacist for what he's doing. Here we go.
Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis, where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I totally understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
So what did I say Trump's angle in this whole thing is going to be? It's the same thing that Nick Shirley just said in that clip right there. It's all about election fraud. It's all about that. It's perfect. Trump knows this. Trump's going to take full advantage of this situation. So again, but it will take a lot of time. But going back to 2020, if you experienced that, like I experienced that, man, it was the worst time that I have seen politically, 2020, after they stole the election from Donald Trump. That's the worst moment I have seen in my political lifetime. Not even close. Not only that, but they stole the election. Then they banned him on social media across the board. And at that point in time, like I said, man, like I looked at this dude, if they could ban Trump off of every major social media platform, what chance do any of us have? What chance do any of us have? Well, luckily, again, and I was right about nobody but Trump If DeSantis wins, we all lose. If Vivek wins, we all lose. If a Republican wins the nomination for 2024, we lost. If a Republican outside of Trump, any Republican, it doesn't matter who it is, any Republican wins that nomination and then goes on to win the White House, if it's not Trump, we all lose. And you had the DeSantis bros at the forefront. You had the libertarian losers at the forefront saying that it needed to be anybody but Trump because he's too old, he's too washed up, blah, 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 blah. If it would have been anybody but Trump, we would have never, ever, ever been able to right the wrongs of 2020. And that's the bottom line. Jeremy forgot about Parler. No, I didn't. But Parler, yeah, what they did on Parler was absolutely crazy as well. So, let's see. And TDS, yes, absolutely. Look what. So I played this clip earlier for those that don't know. I played this clip earlier. So this is a daycare center in Minneapolis. Says it reported that someone broke into their facility and stole all their documents. Why would someone want a daycare's documents? Jim Norton says, I knew there would be a reasonable explanation. Burglars are obsessed with employment and enrollment documentation. Everyone knows this, unless you're racist. Guys, they broke in and stole all of my documents. It's crazy. They stole all of them. Sorry, I still have this lingering cough. So if I occasionally cough into the microphone, I apologize. I'm trying not to, if I can help it. But we'll see what happens. Right here is this. By the way, so I know that there's there's a prominent movement right now of online influencers that are basically saying that they are not going to pay taxes. What's his fucking name? Theo Vaughn was one of them I saw. Theo Vaughn. Like Theo Vaughn said he's not going to pay taxes. Oh, what are we paying taxes for is what he said right here. Okay. What are we paying taxes for? I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about this. I saw Savannah Hernandez talking about this. Mind you, Theo Vaughn is the same person that cried because he was in a meme making fun of illegals. This is the same Theo Vaughn that cried because the Trump administration used him for a meme about illegal immigration. But now he's asking, what are we paying taxes for? This is the same Theo Vaughn that gets offended about dehumanizing illegals. Dehumanizing illegals. Oh, my God. Yet now he's wanting to cry about why are we paying taxes because he sees all this fraud. Well, motherfucker, you've been crying like a woman because of how mean the Trump administration's being to all these illegals. Now you're upset that these illegals are being exposed for ruining our country. Which is it? Which is it? What do you want? Just like Joe Rogan crying about how the Trump administration is being so mean to these immigrants. Some of these immigrants are here for hard work. Some of them are just trying to make a better life. Fuck off. Fuck off with that bullshit. Sick and tired of this, man. Sick and tired of these people. You're virtue signaling. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. All right? You're going to pay taxes, Theo Vaughn, just like every other motherfucker that's virtue signaling saying you're not. Because the reality of it is Theo Vaughn and Savannah Hernandez, and I like Savannah Hernandez. I think she has a great personality. Let's see if I can find her tweet right here. Where's it at? Unless she deleted it. I don't think she deleted it, did she? All right, right here. So Savannah Hernandez says, fuck it, I'm not paying taxes this year. And then when the IRS comes after me, I'll blow it up into a huge national story about the government will destroy your life over a couple of $1,000s. Meanwhile, the Pentagon just failed their 8th straight audit in a row. Somalis literally come to the U.S. just to defend us out of billions of illegals and are prioritized for Section 8 housing and welfare programs over Americans. I'm not paying for it anymore. Why didn't you do this under the Biden administration, Savannah Hernandez, if you're so passionate about it? Why didn't you say this under the Biden administration? Do you know why you didn't say this under the Biden administration? Because you fucking couldn't say it, because they would have thrown your ass in fucking jail. You have the ability to say this because Trump is the president right now. This is a virtue signal from conservatives. That's all this is. Now, and also these influencers, what they fail to tell you is that most people don't have the same ability that people like her and me have. Most people work for a company or a corporation and they pay their taxes all through the year. They never even see the money. So essentially what you're telling everyone to do is to not claim their money at the end of the year. So just don't claim it and give the IRS even more money. It's a retarded virtue signal. That's all this is a retarded virtue signal from people that have the privilege to even have the ability to try and say something like this. Meanwhile, when Biden was in office, none of these motherfuckers were saying this shit. None of them. Because they couldn't. The country was 10 times worse under Biden. 10 times worse. You had illegal immigrants just running over the fucking country. Fucking illegals running rampant. Did Savannah say, I'm not paying my taxes this year because I am fed up with this? Meanwhile, things get better. Time to virtue signal. It's retarded. It's absolutely retarded. So anyway, I see this movement going on. And I think that if you buy into the bullshit that these fucking influencers are saying, God bless you, but they're all full of shit. And it's a giant virtue signal. And they are coming from a place of privilege when 99% of Americans don't have the same abilities that people like her do. And they don't want you to think about that. They want you to say, God, you're so brave and stunning. You're so brave for doing this when the country's getting better. It's retarded. It's absolutely retarded. And Theo Vaughn wants to cry because he's in a fucking meme because he doesn't want offended illegal immigrants. But he wants to whine about why is he paying taxes. Stupid motherfuckers. There's a lot of dumb, retarded people out there. But anyway, so save your virtue signal for somebody else. Let me see here. Where are we at? I got a lot to catch up on. We got, and by the way, Happy New Year to everyone. I appreciate you being here. Kate says, P.S. Can we play Sabaton to end the year? We can. Tree Bear says, Happy New Year 199. Ryan Miller says, now I understand why the people in the mainstream liberal media, the Democrats and the left, have been kicking, screaming, and crying about Doge because they didn't want massive frauds to be exposed. Correct. Modalicious says, who do you think gets off on gayer things tonight? I'm betting on the twink so he can be the ever hero. Nobody can criticize him ever again. Nostalgia died, killed by AIDS and cringe. I'm not sure. I guess I'm just not invested enough anymore after the episode 5 or whatever, or episode 7 of Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. I am hoping for a complete and total train wreck for the finale. I hope that he uses the power of gay to defeat Vecna. And I hope that he gets like a rainbow sword or something like that. Because I just want to roast it and make videos off of it. So yeah, I don't care. I really don't care what they do at this point. Let's see. is it Shebatron? Says leering tax for 10. Thank you. Maga Mike says there's literally no chance these people with an average IQ of 68 orchestrated these countrywide fraud schemes. This has to be done by elite Dems, and we may never know who is involved. Probably true, sadly. Marmelin says, reminds me of when I worked in Detroit. An employee robbed us, ran into our boss as he was doing it, called another employee that morning to explain it wasn't him robbing the company the other night. What's up, Marmillan? Graham Robbins says, my dog broke in and ate our registration papers because the dog was racist, because Nick Shirley made a video that my dog watched because he is a racist. Well, I guess that cleared that up, lads. Veskerbino says, Jeremy is a swell guy. If not, he has takes on, let's see. Jeremy is a swell guy, if not for his takes on movies and games. Cicero says a prison, deportations, and tax revolt will not be enough. We have been betrayed. Jeremy the Cyborg. What's up, Jeremy the Cyborg? With 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, sir. Good to see you, man. It's been a while since I saw you. I hope you're doing well, man. Johnny Witzka says, glad you're back and feeling better. I know this takes time, but we don't have a lot of time. Statute of limitation on charging the J6 committee. They have less than a week before it expires. Yeah, I hate that I missed so much time last week. So I wish it was because I was actually relaxing and doing fun stuff, but I was just miserable, sick. David Phillips says, can I get a hell yeah for President Trump's cabinet picks or what? Hell yes. Ministry of Wrong Things says, the biggest issue we are facing as a nation right now is nothing ever happens. This transcends MAGA itself. What the fuck is the point of democracy if who we vote for can't hold traitors accountable? Yeah, I just fundamentally disagree with the idea that that nothing ever happens. Literally, we're talking about a massive story that is happening because Trump got elected. A lot is happening. Everything that you want to happen is not happening, but a lot is happening, and a lot will continue to happen. Jimmy Ray says, Gretchen Whitmer is probably so relieved that Walz decided to run for VP and take all the focus away from how horrible she is. Rob says, Merry New Year and happy Jessica. Hope everyone's doing well. I understand you have a full version of the damn clip. Any chance we could see it? I don't have it. Like, it's in my DMs somewhere. Now that you've reminded me, I'll try to download that if I can, or screen. I'll probably have to screen record it so that download it from DMs, but I will work on that. John Jones says, quality Leering Center for figs who can't read. Good. Happy New Year and hail the 199. What's up? Logan says, Happy New Year, Snake Pit. Happy New Year's, Fig. Chat lives matter. My lives matter. Tip your bud tenders. Thank you for the $20. Harley Davis says, hey, Jeremy, Trans Somalia feels like a Weird Al song, or it should be. And then Harley Dave became a tier 3 member. Thank you. Harley Dave says, Jeremy, you do understand you are doing same what if the other side did while Trump was running, she lost, or whatever the fuck else was said. Yeah, that one was very confusing. Project Piper Custom says that the ball is dropping here in the UK. Happy New Year. Just finished the first draft of my second book. Editing begins tomorrow. The grind doesn't stop. Let's go 2026. Hope next year is kick-ass for you and the G&G team. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you. That's awesome. Harley Dave says, I agree with JD Vance, the blues bass player and ham dancer. Harley Dave. What up, brother? The horror host says, just a reminder that is it Feds? Hang on. I don't know what you're saying here. Oh, it's about Fuentes had a server on his Discord called Catboy Ranch and was looked up for cum stains of black light at a Groyper meetup. Watch the debate he had with Medicare. I that is TMI for me. I do think Nick Fuentes is funny as shit though, but I am not a fan. But he is funny as hell. Harley Dave says, hi, Jeremy. Did you have a multi-trillion-dollar Somali fraud on your 2025 bingo? I did not, but yet here we are. Harley Dave says, we have no political effort, only Zool. Oracle of Doom for 50 says, Happy New Year to you, your family, and the legend that is the 199. And may God bless all. Romans 12:21. Do not be overcome by evil. Overcome evil with good. Hail. Thank you for the 5222. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Harley Dave says, hey, Jeremy, I'm sorry you have male pube stuck in your throat. Have you tried a little bottle brush? What? Harley says, hey, Jeremy, if we all donate to these Somali Leering centers, does that mean that we can audit them? No, that's not how that works, right? According to them, it's racist if you ask for an audit. It's absolutely racist. Packet Proton says, happy New Year. Did you cover this? Breaking, Zoran Mamdani stuns New York with Al-Qaeda defense lawyer in charge of his chief counsel. I didn't see that. There's just been so much. It's been so much. So I have not seen that one. Dill Pickles says, Somalis are winning the grift wars. We need to do better. Happy New Year. Dead and Dug Up says, you would think with a bulb head like you would have had 180 IQ. I'm so tired of hearing that trucker sounding Tommy Lahren. No amount of blonde fixes that. Good to see you back, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I have never been a fan of Tommy Lahren, even back when she was like, you know, she popped up on the scene and everybody was going crazy over her. I have never been a fan of her. She always seemed a little phony to me. And then when she jumped on the DeSantis bandwagon, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Elon just retweeted an Asmongold clip. So breaking, streamer Asmongold says that the Somali fraud is far larger than just arresting a few Somalians. The entire families must be denaturalized and deported. All right, let's hear what Asmon has to say.
You have to make the punishment infinitely worse than the crime. And I'm talking about deporting the entire family, denaturalizing the entire family, sending the entire group of them back to Somalia. That's what needs to happen. And anybody complicit and anybody involved in this scam. And until we have a candidate and a person that's willing to do that, then I'm not really interested in voting, if you want me to be honest. I'm really not interested in voting, because why is it that I'm going to vote for a slow rot of my country whenever the solution is so obvious?
So this is the clip that I saw the other day where I heard him say this, okay? So I agree with his points. But then he starts talking nonsense about, I'm not voting until I get what I want. Fucking retarded.
Can't flip the switch? Yeah, you can. You can easily flip the switch. You just do it. If J.D. Vance does not push for treason with capital punishment against Tim Walz, do not vote for him. If Trump does not deliver that, do not vote for him. Unless the most extreme, dramatic, brutal, aggressive option is on the table, I'm staying home.
It's such a what that is. That is a person that it's Asmon leaning into the always online crowd, the people that have no concept of reality. That's what he's doing, and he knows that. Asmongold's smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. That will get those people very worked up, but it is an absolutely retarded statement. Because again, why are you even talking about this topic, Asmon? Why do we even know about the Somali fraud, Asmon? Why? By the way, I'm pretty sure Asmon, again, I will qualify that I don't know this for sure. I'm going to qualify myself. I don't know this for sure, but I would go out on a limb and say that Asmongold has never 100% said that 2020 was stolen. I don't think he's ever it's clearly been stolen. Maybe he has, but I feel like because he walks that fence with Trump, like sometimes he'll be like pro-Trump, sometimes he won't be. Like, it's obvious what happened in 2020. It's obvious to anybody with a fucking working brain. And yet he has, to my knowledge, he has never said that. Again, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I have never heard him blatantly say that it's obvious what happened. Yet you're not willing to vote for the guy that they stole a fucking election from. You're not willing to vote for a guy that they tried to arrest. You're not willing to vote for a guy that they tried to murder. You're not willing to go vote for a guy that they raided his fucking home. Insane. It's a retarded take. Asman says it wasn't stolen. Is that what he said? I don't know that. I'm reading the chat. So, but I would assume that is his take because it's a safe take. It's a very safe take to say that it wasn't when it clearly was. So anyway, I did see that one though. I wanted to check that one out. He totally thinks it was legit. I've seen him say that. That is fucking hilarious. So you're okay. So he wants to sit there and get mad about the Somalia fraud. And again, do we think that it's just in Minnesota, Asman? Do we think it's just in Minnesota? Or maybe it's widespread everywhere? And if we have widespread fraud everywhere in the United States of America, if we have it everywhere, all over the place, and it's all based on immigrants, illegal and legal, and it's based off of defrauding the government in order to financially support these people, what else do you think is going on? Just like when Nick Shirley said with Tim Walz, it's about votes. It's about having enough illegals to vote for him. Pray for the Batman says, you're making a giant straw man about him that has nothing to do with the daycare thing. Bull fucking shit, it doesn't. You think the daycare thing is not tied to illegal immigration? Illegal immigration and government fraud is tied to election interference. Why the fuck did Gavin Newsom get elected in a landslide in California? Tell me that right now. Tell me why Gavin Newsom got elected. Do you think it has something to do with illegal immigration? Do you think it has something to do with the fraud of the government funding these illegals and these programs? Are you fucking kidding me right now? There's more Republican voters in the state of California than any state in the fucking country. And yet Gavin Newsom wins in a fucking landslide. And you want to tell me that all of this fraud with illegal immigration has nothing to do with Democrats being in power at a state level? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Thank you for the support, though. Pray for the Batman. I know you're always watching, so we're cool. Quality Leering Center says it's time to start leering. I am the leerer now. May the leering be with you. Mod Eric says, please stop with the full screen. Midnight Light says, Happy New Year's, Jeremy. JD Advanced went to leering. Bubba Doom says, I hope you're eating your black-eyed peas tomorrow. Patriotic Assault says, thank God JD is our vice president and not Tampon Tim. We say a lot, but damn, we dodged a disaster. Hail Trump and JD. BC Man says, you've been surely missed. Fig, welcome back and hail. Happy New Year. I'm glad to be back. I'm very happy to be back. Sith Lord says, Jeremy's education level ended at the Quality Leering Center. Happy New Year, IDOTS. Eric says, 5 or 6 states now with Somalis, daycare, and Medicaid fraud now. I predict 0 arrests and 0 deportations. They are useless. Crazy Clown Town says, you are ahead of Tim Pool. So that counts. This is my last super chat of the year until my next chat, which could be tomorrow or in 5 minutes. I'm ahead of Tim Pool. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Piano Dean says, amazing. The left is angry that a blue state and a blue governor look bad now, not that billions were stolen from taxpayers. MAGA Mike says, I stand with Somalia, Steve Urkel Smollett. Little Jim Taylor says, I'm glad more citizen journalists are going and trying to find fraud. There are more videos of people going to daycares to find these criminals. I agree, and this is why I will continue to say this. I mean this. Support your favorite creator. And that's why people like Nick Shirley and others, like, they are driven by the people, the audience. This is how we are able to do what we do. And so whether that's, you know, whoever your favorite creator is, whether it's me or somebody else, whoever it is, you supporting them directly, you are helping them. And right now, a lot of these guys that are, you know, boots on the ground, people like Nick Shirley and others, those guys need all the support they can get. Big time. Crazy Clownton says, for the news, he hasn't covered it on Timcast since he was on vacation. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, I got you. Brian Stewart says, New Year's, same garbage stream room setup. I see. I mean, at this point, like, I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to add anything? I saw someone that said, Jeremy's fell on hard times, man. Look at that setup. He used to have this cool room with video games behind him, and look at him, man. I'm like, who cares? Polish Princess, Happy New Year's Eve, Jeremy. How's the quality leering going these days? Doug Dig says, yo, JP, somehow you returned. Being sick blows. Me and my kids got the vid currently. So fun. Passing time with T2 2D. Happy New Year and hail the 199. I hope you guys get to feeling better. That game is awesome, by the way. Peter with a gifted membership. Thank you. Vlad says, can you zoom yourself out, please? Looking at you so close is disturbing. MAGA Mike says, I don't trust a journalist filming on the ground. I trust CNN, Harry Sisson, and Ed Cranston's. You must leer too close. Your eyes are lying. Minister of Front Things says, the media is literally reporting more on Nick, who and where he is than they're reporting on the actual story he's exposing. Agreed. And it's obvious what they're doing. McCox says, to the 5% of CobraCast, yo, how you doing? Hit me up. CobraCast will 199 stickers when I need them for my hard hat. Kevin Spears says, if it's black or brown, flush it. Eric K says, Dim Washington State Senator introduced a bill to block all information on daycare ownership and any details about it. She is protecting the fraud. Minister of Fun thinks that somebody broke in and stole Jeremy's heterosexuality. Grapdar's Hammer says, is this the best day they had to put out that front? Or let's see. Is this the best they had to put out that front? Are you talking about the Somali actress? 8 o'clock says, deport them all. Let me go down here for a minute. Cole Hauser for 50 says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, Jeremy. Glad you're better. Send those rigas away. Praise Allah, brother. Had to slowly say that one. Okay. Not that I've ever said that word before. Would never say that word. Midgar Ninja. Bro, y'all are like, Happy New Year, hail to 199. You're trying to make me slip up and say something, a word I would have never said. I would never say that word. It's just a mean, bad word. Minister of Brown Thing says, I like watching a magician desperately doubling down, continuing a trick even after all the cards fell out of his sleeve in front of the audience. Southeastern Kaiju says, support Jeremy, back to Africa theory. Green Raptor says, the women behind them need to go with them too. Linko Kenobi says, Happy New Year, everyone. Jeremy, wish you Geeks and Gamers and the crew and your family Happy New Year's. See you at MegaCon. Looking forward to the meetup. Hell yeah, man. Grapdar's Hammer says, Tim Walz in handcuffs, midterm victory, loss otherwise. I think the perspective of being on the internet so much, like, I don't know how I think Trump is in extremely good shape for the midterms, because I think that if you read the internet, if you're online all the time and you listen to all these fucking influencers, then they make it seem like the world is coming to an end. But the reality of it is Donald Trump is doing a very good job in the country with the things that matter to Americans, generally speaking, right now. He's got to improve. There's some things that has to improve. I'm not saying it's perfect, but he's doing a good job day to day for Americans that don't live online. That's that. And so then you have all these influencers, and you have a lot of people that are audience captured, and they're just scared because they think like, oh, I need to say what my audience wants me to say so I can get them to support me. And I'm just here to be honest about what I think, man. And but when you are controlled by that, then, these people are going to say whatever they're going to need to say. Lying Dogface says, Democrats replaced the Minnesota flag with the Somali look-alike flag. Minnesota has been colonized. We got 5 gifted memberships from, God damn it, where'd it go? I saw it. Somebody dropped 5 gifted memberships. I'll find it here in a minute. Harley Dave says, hey, Jeremy, what will it take for a branded IDOT mask quarter zip hoodie like what you're wearing? More requests, I guess. But I actually love the idea of that. So, Jessica, screenshot it. Okay. And then send it to Tommy. And again, if more people want it, I mean, if it really comes down to if people want it, we will produce it. John freaking Murdoch says, hey, Jeremy, Happy New Year. Got to say, all this leering is making me uncomfortable. Let's see. The Under Armour Gamer says, on the 23rd, I got my CobraCast tank top only 6 months late. Also, sorry to hear about your mouth aids. Missed you, bud. I'm glad you got that, man. I'm glad you got it. It's frustrating, but that's why we had to move away from Teespring, because it sucks. Phoenix Tangent says, I could say with all certainty that Asmongold believes that the 2020 election was legitimate. He also did not vote in the 2024 election and has admitted that repeatedly. And that is, again, I like Asmongold. So, I think he's very entertaining, and I like a lot of what he has to say, but he is a better fence rider than Tim Pool. He's a far better fence rider. Tim won't have a strong take on either side of the fence, and Asmon will have a strong take on either side of the fence, but he still rides that fence. So the idea that for anyone to think that the 2020 election was legit, but yet you want to call out fraud and say that if somebody doesn't do something about all this fraud, then I'm not going to support them. It's like retarded. Harley Dave says, hey, Jeremy, it's almost like none of this bullshit adds up. And then Harley says, hey, ladies, I am leering into you. I am not Somali. And then Harley says, more requests. You heard Harley, peeps. All right. We need more requests. Real SVT Junkie says, Jeremy, if I were to get into streaming, retarded I know, which streaming software, microphone, and camera should I invest in? A budget is not a priority. Sorry if you've answered this 100 times. Well, that is okay. First of all, all right. So which streaming software, microphone, and camera should I invest in? So I truly do not think that it depends on what type of stream. If you're doing like just people like on screen like this, I've said it. If you're a dude, nobody cares what you look like. So I have a $200 Logitech webcam. Audio is important. This is the best microphone. This is the Shure SM7B. This is the best microphone you can get. It's an XLR microphone, so you will need to get something like a Rodecaster, which I have. So look into the Shure SM7B and a Rodecaster, probably a Rodecaster Pro 2. Audio is king for what we do. Video, not so much, but audio is the most important thing you need. In terms of streaming software, if you're doing streams like I am, StreamYards is the best. If you're doing streams that you want to have a little more flexibility, learn how to use OBS. You can look up OBS on YouTube, and that's how we run our gaming streams and a lot of our other streams. It gives us a little more flexibility, but StreamYards does a good job of kind of making it simple, and it helps us kind of keep up with the chat. So, but audio is king for a person that's not a hot chick. If you're a hot chick, you need to get the best camera possible and focus on point the camera at your boobs, and you'll get a lot of super chats and a lot of support. But if you're a dude, nobody cares. And he says, thank you, brother Hale. Right back at you, man. Net Steeler says, Merry Christmas, little brother. I hope you are feeling better. You and yours have a safe and Happy New Year. Hail the chat too. They are the real heroes of the day. Absolutely. Thank you, Net Steeler. I appreciate that. Let's see. And again, going back to the if you're doing videos and stuff like that, I can't stress this enough. okay, as a YouTuber, if you make videos, nobody gives a fuck about you. And I say that with all the love in the world. All right. But you have to look at making content like you're the viewer. And you have to think about, as a viewer, what type of content do I like? You have to produce that type of content. So again, in the most simplistic terms, if you're making a video on a trending topic, like I do, or I used to anyway, don't start the video out advertising or introducing yourself, because no one gives a fuck about you. They care about the topic that you are advertising. They don't give a shit about you. So don't spend the first minute telling people to go follow you on TikTok or follow you on Patreon or here's my nobody gives a fuck. They clicked on the video for the topic, not you. They don't give a fuck about you. So focus on the topic that you are promising. And if you do a good enough job over the course of time, people will then find out who you are and support you. But don't waste people's time. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. So that's the most important advice that I can give a up and coming YouTuber is nobody gives a shit about you. Joe Bit says first 2026 tax fee. Happy New Year. MAGA for life. Thank you. Johnny the Whiskey says the super chat from Console Cretans. That was me. Okay, right on, man. MAGA Mike says, I agree with you about PBD and others jumping on Nick's viral success, but Nick is seizing this moment very well. Absolutely. My criticism has nothing to do with Nick Shirley. I like Nick Shirley. I like what he's doing. It's just the content vultures are it's very mainstream where you see these people suddenly go, oh, we got to bring so-and-so into the studio because he's got a viral video. And it's like, God, I fucking hate that. I really do. I know it's part of the game. I know that. But it's just so cringy to me where it's like, let's bring in this guy who went viral. And I think we've done this a couple times at Geeks and Gamers, and this is why we don't do it anymore. Like, I have a ton of connections of people that I could bring on when something happens. I fucking hate the idea of, I'm going to bring you on because you went viral. It's content vultures is all it is. Dark Red Knight says, Stranger Things finale watch party on Locals. Not tonight. Everybody's kind of got plans, so not tonight. Sydney Business says, if I was Leering Center in Alabama, no one would have said, if it was a Leering Center in Alabama, nobody would have said anything. Taker says, Quality Learning Center School for the Gifted. Lying Dogface says, 10 billion divided by 80,000 Somalis equals 125,000 per Somali. These scans are nationwide. Third, is it JHR? Says, Happy New Year, my parasocial brother. You are a nice ABD quality gentleman to be molded and admired for all, especially the way you do your eyebrows. Thank you. MAGA Mike says, Nick, can I enroll my kid Joey into daycare here? Totally legit daycare manager. Why? No businesses do not act like that, period. Agreed. Darth Gavel says, place of business looks like someone's home. Well, some daycares are people's homes. So, Manager Brown thinks says the reason they are so mad is because Nick is proving the average citizen can make an impact away from their bribery and blackmailing of officials. Agreed. Taker says D-Day Cobra D-Day Care Services LLC. Suggan says it's insane how anyone can still vote for Democrats given how anti-American they are. MAGA Mike says, what a beautiful way to end the year. New Year is going to be a banger. Happy New Year's, y'all. Phil says, when are we opening the Leering Cast Daycare? Margaret Rally says, could you tell us, chat you meant what? Can you tell us what it is you do here, Tim? Yeah, misspelling threw me off. I still like how they broke in last night and stole our paperwork. If I was going to rob someplace, the paperwork would be my first go-to. Arclight with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Phil says, who has a higher IQ, Somalians or Tim Walls? Poll it if you have to. honestly, Somalians, they have a higher IQ than Tim Walz. I think that's kind of a guarantee. Quality Leering Center says, Jeremy, they couldn't even lock someone up that lied to Congress. It's not a black pill. It's their track record that has us down. I think it's who you're following on social media. You know, I do. I think there's a ton of positive stuff that's come from the Trump administration if you're actually willing to pay attention. But you're welcome to watch whoever you fucking want to watch. MAGA Mike says the Trump administration has already halted all federal funding to child care facilities in Minnesota. Panicking somehow most hurt. Same Millennial says if it wasn't already said, PBD podcast interviewed Nick Shirley this morning, and they countered well what the idiots online are saying in his videos. Yeah, again, I like Patrick Bet David. I like his show. But my criticism is more so just the idea of like, I saw like his whole crew. They were like going, oh, look, we've got Nick Shirley in town, everyone. This is a great day. Look, they were family, friends. Just like, you didn't give a fuck about Nick Shirley like a week ago. Now suddenly he's like this big celebrity to them. It's like maybe he should have been a celebrity a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, when he was boots on the fucking ground in very, very, very tough situations, bringing content. But because he only had a few thousand people watching that content, you don't care. Suddenly he gets 100 million views and you're rolling the fucking red carpet out. It's just annoying. Raptor Sammer says, I'd like to get my son, Little Beardo, in your Leering Center. Great Tang get the membership. Thank you. Death Deuce's question for the chat. What's worse, a Somali fraud or G&G locals? G&G locals, easily. Crofty says, the successful thing is that they have successfully defrauded the USA. Kevin says that my 75-year-old mom thinks JD is hot. Dorian says, don't forget Asmongold. He is a pro-doomer too. Slain Hope says, Dems pretend to be retarded because their voters are. Piano Dean says, boy, I bet they wish they hadn't stolen 2020. That is it is a great backfire, what we're seeing. Harley Dave for 50 says, hi, Jeremy. Lamau, love you, brother. Checking out for the evening. We will create and destroy next year. Happy New Year. Look at that, man. Harley Dave, be good tonight. Don't get in any trouble, Harley Dave, okay? Don't party too hard, brother. But we'll see you on the other side, man. Thank you so much, Harley. I appreciate it, brother. Maga Mike says, Nick Fuentes and Gavin Newsom both sit down with their legs crossed. Coincidence? Slain Hope says, I got a perfect on SF2 so perfection is achievable. Harley Dave says, funny, I watched that clip of the Somali and thought of you. Maga Mike says, these influencers will absolutely pay their taxes. They won't go to jail. They want you to not pay your taxes and go to jail for their movement. Yes, and then what they will do is they will then virtue signal off of that. So yeah, pretty funny. Okay. Phil says, we can't not pay our taxes. We pay taxes each paycheck. Don't tell the influencers that. Samurai says, I just got here. Did we talk about Sydney's left boob on Netflix now in her new Eden movie? It was as glorious as expected. I saw some clips that Phil sent me last night. They were really good. So, Defending Truth says, did you know Jeremy paid taxes when he worked retail? Grino Jones says, not paying taxes, tax. Happy New Year, Figs. Kevin Spears says, not enough freedom seeds from Pew Pew Plows to solve it. Harley says, this reminds me of when I worked retail. Bako says, $5 for the grift jar. Happy New Year, hail. Thank you. Fantastic Snock says, hail a day. Happy New Year, Fig. LFG to 2026. Heartbreak Zero says, instead of watching Stranger Things, I'll just work on building my 1/6 scale 1989 Batmobile instead. Merry New Year and hail. Hey, man, that sounds like an awesome, fun night. Editor MG says, hey, Jeremy, trying to send you a link to a song a friend of mine cut with AI. Can't do it through Super Chats. You can send it to me on Twitter. The only thing is the spam was so bad. So I had to change it to where if it's only verified accounts can send me messages now, because I was getting probably 100 fucking porn bots just sending me messages. And I was like, I can't filter through all this shit every time. So I changed it to where verified accounts can DM me. Harley Dave says, and we all are caught up. Now we are. Nope, not now. Close, though. Phil says, can this super chat go towards the IDOT quarter zip hoodie? There you go. Jessica, we're getting more requests for it. So if you guys want it, we will make it happen. Defending Truth says, did you hear the story of the man who bailing water on the Titanic? He overheard saying, things are happening. It's working. Trust the plan. Real SVT junkie, Georgia. That's all. Tomorrow is a huge day of football. You also got Ohio State and Miami tonight, but tomorrow there's 3 games. It's going to be crazy. Vault 95 says, good to see you're alive. Kung Fury watch party on locals. I like that idea. Dark Red Knight says, Asman said that people who think 2020 was stolen are retards. That lines up. MAGA Mike says, Jeremy, it's because of Israel. It's always because of Israel. By the way, just got an email. Israel's not paying me anymore because they're paying Nick Shirley. Fuck. See, man, dude goes viral and I lose my $7,000 paycheck. I just got back in their good graces. Damn it. Ministry of Front Thing says, doesn't matter if 2020, 28 elections are 100% legit. If people don't see actual movement, they won't choose to vote in elections anyway. Well, Trump won in a landslide, so they clearly are voting. Slain Hope says, the FBI should reward fraudster headhunters with money. Brian Stewart says, soon Jay and Beardo enroll Kada in Somali daycare. John Jones says, it's leering time. John Orchard says, he speaks the truth about YouTube. Also, thanks for not selling coffee or tea. See you at MegaCon. Maybe this will be the year I join. Hell yeah. I can't actually do the coffee or tea grift. I can't do it. Alex Aerocave says, did you see the pic I took of me and the IDOT Christmas? I don't think so. I'll look it up, though. Harley says, hey, Jeremy, are we going to do the quarter zip with a nice, clean IDOT mask embroidery? I'm taking request. Matt Frog says, just found out what Ben does, then do the opposite. David says, do you think Mike Lindell can beat Tampon Tim? That's going to be interesting, actually. That's going to be very interesting how that whole thing plays out. So Mike Lindell is actually going to be running for governor, and I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see here. When's this on my timeline? Krista wants people to follow her on Instagram. She wants to look at that. Krista wants people to follow her on Instagram. She's close to 6K. So you got to go to her Twitter account and follow her. She wants people to follow her for New Year's. So you got to go do that. That's up to you, chat. You're going to make her upset. You're going to make her cry, chat. You're going to make her cry. Let's see. This is my favorite account. Subscribe on Locals. A picture of me with Benology's face. So bad. It's the worst thing ever. Nothing has ever described our local situation except for that picture. Johnny Wood says, what are your thoughts on my super chat? In 6 days, if charges aren't brought to J6 committee, they walk free. That's why we don't have a lot of time up. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of research on that. So I've been sick for the past week. I saw a few people talking about it, but I don't know if there's an extension opportunity. I have no idea, so I can't speak on it too much. Incoherent Name says, it feels like no one is talking about Georgia confirming their 2020 election was rigged with 300,000 votes fraudulently counted. Samurai says, Minnesota is 47's make break, maybe a win or Afghan pullout. Harley Dave says, Jeremy did not allow me to DM him. Yes, I did. Archer Merchant says, end of the year donation. Keep up the good work. Pop culture needs to heal. Rational, free thinking, very important. Certain things that need to be called out. I agree. That's actually exactly my approach. So we're going to be ramping things up on Geeks and Gamers for sure. But I think Geeks and Gamers, I think we need to, and I think Ryan is very good with this. And I think I'm pretty good at it too. I think Ryan's better at it. But I think that we as Geeks and Gamers, we need to start offering perspective on stuff that's going on in the entertainment world. And that's kind of what I do here on CobraCast with the political stuff is I try to offer perspective. But like, that's what we got to do in the entertainment world. Like, offer perspective, because so many people are so zoned into their own kind of echo chamber. And I don't mean that negatively. We all have them. Our feed is our echo chamber. Our algorithm is our echo chamber. Our algorithm only feeds us what we are interested in. And there's not a lot of perspective outside of that. And I'm not saying you have to agree with what we're saying or whatever, but it's like understanding that there's more going on that's just what's right in front of us. There's so much more perspective out there. And so anyway, that's going to be one of our focuses. King Moon Razor says, but at the same time, there's a lot of shit that needs to be called out. And we will always do that as well, because fuck them. King Moon Razor says, should I become a member on all of your shit just to be sure I'm covered? Just locals. It's all just support on locals. I'm a retard. Okay. I am a retard. I am sorry. Zwani for 50 says, I honestly just want to say thanks for all the entertainment in 2025. I discovered this channel mid-year, and it's been a blessing to me ever since. You and the chat are an amazing community that I'm honored to be part of. Hail to all of you. Thank you. That's really, I do appreciate it, man. Like, we have fun. We laugh, we meme, we talk about serious stuff. We don't take ourselves too seriously. I've never taken myself seriously, and I will continue to not. I think it's funny when people take me seriously that don't like me and they get very upset. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm whatever. Like, it's the line from the Eminem song. I am whatever you say I am. I don't care. Think of me. Think of whatever you want. I don't care. But ultimately, it's all about the internet is about having fun. It's about talking shit. It's about learning, but it's also understanding that the moment that you take your opinions too seriously, the internet will fucking wreck you. Okay? Like, it absolutely will destroy you. Don't take your, like, if you put too much of into your opinion and your feelings, you're like, my opinion means a lot to me. The internet's gonna be like, fuck you. Nobody gives a shit. Great thing says, I thought your thoughts on a CobraCast or a G&G tracksuit. Also, I need stickers. I never really thought about a tracksuit, but again, if I would love to get to a point where we have a plethora of stuff, kind of like how Barstool does. Barstool just offers so much stuff to their audience, and I want us to get to a point where we offer so much stuff from that perspective. But noted. I'll see if anybody else brings that up. Cooper says, Happy New Year. Sorry you got fired for drinking on the job at the sperm bank. Hope this helps. Cooper finally sent a super chat. Southeaster Kaiju says, learn to read, moron. Happy New Year, you animals. Pam, is that it? Says, did you see Trump talk about Trump class battleships? I like the idea of new battleships, but it looks bad. We covered that here. I didn't actually see a lot of the designs of them. It was funny to listen to him talk about it, but I didn't actually see a lot of the designs. NBSD for 20 on Rumble says, did Beardo put out the quality Leering Center on his resume? He should have. Real Stream here says, hey, Jeremy, have you enjoyed the Sergeant Hartman memes I've been sending you on Twitter? If you haven't seen them, just check my Twitter page. Also, for some reason, YouTube won't let me send the super chat. Really? I'll double check. I'll go to your account. You have the same @ that you have on Rumble, right? Dr. Butcher says, how do I find Chris's account? I'm sure that one of the mods dropped the link. It's that one right there. So mods, you can drop a link if you want. Helen Hunt's forehead says, Happy New Year from the UK. Just turned 2026 here. Let's go. Ghost says, Happy New Year, Jeremy. I wish you and your family and Geese Gamers crew in the chat health, happiness, success, and all the best in 2026. Best regards from Croatia. That is awesome. Nips Litter says, thoughts on the siren emoji breaking people. Happy New Year. I want to continue to use the siren emoji because it upsets people. David Moore says, John Roca says Taylor Swift is MAGA. Had to share it. No, he did not. No, he did not. John Roca did not say that. Hang on. John Roca. Where did he say this? Hang on. Where did he say this? So for those that don't know, John Roca is an entertainment pundit. He's a loser. He has TDS. On Twitter a week ago. Let's see. He has massive TDS, but he said Taylor Swift is MAGA. He is really like he's lost in his TDS. So I'm not going to scroll his whole account, but that's hilarious if he says Taylor Swift hates Trump big time. There's this video of her crying about Trump before the 2020 election, I think. Brian Stewart says, you owe us part 2 of the give him a ticket lady. I know. I was planning on doing that the week I was out. Jesus says, all hail Cobra Commander, Jeremy and King Trump. Welcome back, brother. Be rooting for your team tomorrow. Roll Tide. Hopefully Ohio State loses tonight. Let's freaking go, baby. Big game tomorrow. We'll see. Patriarch Eagle says, as we head into 2026, never forget Dems that didn't stand for DJ Daniel, voted against tax cuts and women's sports, and celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. That is true. Sydney Business was happy 250 Eve Vig. Let's see. Glad you're not dead. I guess honestly, I'm glad you're back and feeling better. Thank you. It's good to be back. It really is. Shaky Ohms says, welcome back. Finally, something to watch while I drink beer. I'm happy you guys are happy. Drew Barr, thank you for the member message. Malice the Devil says, corruption is the highest level of in the highest levels of government. This is no surprise either. Hail to 199. I hope the new year offers a lot of accountability. Same here. Lying Dog Face with the gifted membership. Arc Light says, Jeremy, it's time to open some J Care centers. 8 o'clock says, Happy New Year, Snake Pit. May every state get the first decree. Phil says, Elon buying Twitter is actually a rare occurrence of going towards world peace. Elon is the most important person in the world. Elon is our Tony Stark, and people don't thank him enough. I agree with that completely. With that. And he does not get enough credit, and he's never going to get enough credit. I think I heard someone talk about, I was watching like Flashcast the other day, and someone talked about, I can't remember specifically. Somebody sent a super chat on Flashcast, and they were talking about the cultural impact of things. And they basically said, we don't have a Michael Jackson to rally around. You know, we don't have that central figure to rally around. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, first of all, I do agree there's no like Michael Jackson, and there will never be another Michael Jackson per se, but Elon Musk is that guy to rally around. He's changing the world. He's changing the world in more ways than anybody in my lifetime. The things that he's doing, the things he's capable of. And, you know, it is kind of crazy that he's never going to get the credit that he deserves. Stone Farmer says, Washington senator files for not releasing any daycare info for any that gets investigated. Not needed if no fraud. Slano says, the left survives by outnumbering the facts, 100 with 1 with the lies. We need to become 100 times more vocal while exposing their lies to convince normies. Well, the left also just is unified, and people on the right are not unified. The left is unified in their hatred of Trump and the lies that they're going to spread. And they don't question each other, and they typically don't eat each other alive as long as they're on message. And the right is full of people that are just trying to destroy each other. Breezy's Comics and Collectibles says, if a person votes for someone because of how they look, they shouldn't be allowed to vote. Yet here we are with these clowns. Steel Lake of History says, thanks for everything, Jeremy. I'm getting ready to do my New Year's stream. Going to wear my diehard 199 I. shirt. It's my favorite shirt. 32 subs from 900. That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. Agent 3141 says, Happy New Year, Jeremy, and 199. Really miss your live streams. Here's to another year of grifting. Thank you. Cornboy says, Happy New Year, 199. See you at MegaCon. Casey Cheeto says, will there be a leering on locals? Just checking for a friend with a stupid name. Alex Arrowcave says, shaving hair is gay. Mine is down to my shoulders. I'm a quadriplegic and my hair is fantastic. Meta PC code 199. Sorelli BS for 50 says, glad you're still alive. 25 was a ride, but our 26 is looking to be even better, God willing. That means more tipsy tips for figs to go around. Hope the pit has a blessed 26. Let's go, man. That's awesome, man. Looking forward to it, man. You guys have made this the best year ever, and looking forward to the next year of craziness. And we got a lot of stuff we're wanting to do, a lot of plans with G&G we're trying to do. So, if Snake Pit willing and God willing, we're going to be able to pull it off. So Godzilla's Greasers says, Happy New Year, Jeremy. It's been a hell of a ride. I love every minute of it. By the way, make sure you get your ass in Dallas by 2026. Yeah, I love going to the Dallas meetup, so I'm going to try for sure. Davis Mark says, Jeremy, I'm at 250 subscribers, and it's because of the 199. All y'all inspired me. Thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you, man. Congratulations. Coopster says, I super chat all the time. You missed them, just like my first one. Sorry, buddy. Let's see. Pyro says, happy new Jessica Snake Pit. I hope 2026 is bright and happy for everyone. Thank you. Miniature Front Thing says, after 8 years, I uploaded a shit post video on YouTube using 100% real Asmongold clips. It's rough, but I used a phone video editor app. So, hey, got to do what you got to do. Got to do what you got to do. Real Stream Hero says, no, my Twitter is StreamHero77. The only reason my @ on Rumble is different is because some idiot took my name. Got you. Sorry, I still have a little bit of a cough. But with that said, we're going to end it there. I might go live again tonight. No guarantee, but I think I will go live for because I'm in the Eastern time zone. So I think we're going to go live tonight for the ball drop and to close the new year out, or this year out, and open the new year. So I think we're going to go live again. I kind of do want to ring the new year in with, because I mean, dude, I missed a week. I hated that I missed a week. So I would love to bring the new year in with the chat. So I think we will do that. So River Miles says, CobraCast is my most watched series of 2025. No regrets. 2026 should be the same. MLM, CLM. Happy New Year. That's awesome. Love hearing that, man. Aaron Adams says, what do you think about Netflix Yahoo starting in again? I hope Trump will stay focused on the U.S. and the economy. Yeah, I mean, I saw him in fucking Netflix Yahoo and Trump or whatever doing their thing the other day. And I mean, I typically don't care. I don't like Netanyahu at all. I think he's slimy. I'm not a fan at all. But I also see like the fucking emotional outrage every time Trump is with Netflix Yahoo. And I'm like, I don't care what these people in line have to say either. But yeah, it's largely irrelevant for me. I'm not noticing too much. So sorry. But there's plenty of people that are being paid by Qatar that are noticing. So you can go check out their streams. And they'll tell you everybody's being paid by Israel. I'll take either. Qatar, Israel. I'm a fucking free agent right now, okay? So show me the money, okay? Show me the money. But with that, we're going to leave it there. It's good to be back. I appreciate it. I was worried that nobody was going to watch because I've been gone for so long, but yet here we are. So Bama game is tomorrow. Roll Tide Roll. Playing the #1 team in the country. We'll see how that goes. Another stream tonight to bring in the new year. You guys have a good evening. And I'm going to leave you. I don't care either. We're on agreement. But we're going to leave you with Sabaton as requested earlier. We'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.